And we back. Oh man, it feels good to be a Sixer fan? Maybe. I mean, I'm not technically a Sixer fan, but I got this shirt. It's very, very faded because I bought this September 1st, 2016. Oh, I got the proof. I got the proof for it. This is basically the first day they start selling Ben Simmons shirts. I was like, I like Ben Simmons. He's going to be a rookie. He's going to tear it up. And then, you know, the injury happened and everything. But it must feel very good to be a 76er fan because you just made another trade to make your team better. That's Woj. Oh, nothing. Okay. Y'all know Woj is on notifications. He could be dropping trades. Boom, boom, boom. You know, we like 24 hours away from the trade deadline. So this may not even be the biggest trade of today. But I thought it was big enough for us to create a video on because y'all love the trade reactions. Y'all love the trade reactions so much. I had a couple people in my DMs saying, Kenny, make a video reacting to the Rodney Hood trade. I'll show y'all my reaction to the Rodney Hood trade. And that was it. Like that's not good enough or big enough for a full video, but this might be. They just added another borderline all-star to their team. If you don't know the specifics, don't worry. Woj was up late making it happen. Well, I guess he didn't make it happen, but letting the world know. It says it happened at 11, but I promise you it didn't because I was still woke at 11. It had to happen like 1 o'clock my time. But regardless, sources, Clippers and the 76ers have agreed to trade Tobias Harris, Boban, Mike Scott for Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, 2 first-round picks, one of them being the Miami Heat pick, which we're going to talk about because that's a very, very good pick, and then 2 second-rounders. So now we're looking at a lineup in Philly of Ben Simmons, JJ Redick, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. And Elton Brand, the general manager of the 76ers, are going all in this year. Now, when I tweeted that, I got people in the mentions saying they want to re-sign Jimmy and Tobias. And I'm like, yeah, of course they want to. But if a team out there offers Tobias Harris a max contract, I bet you Tobias is going to get that money. So, yes, they want to re-sign these players, but there is a good chance that both of these players are not back next season. So, keep that in mind. So, after this trade, it's like championship or bust. Kind of. Because, again, there's still a chance that they can re-sign them. When I say championship or bust, you know, last year they surprised the world. Coming into the season, they were borderline making the playoffs. For some people, for most people, they were like, Ben Simmons not gonna be our last rookie season. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy, so I'll be surprised if they made the playoffs. Not only did they make the playoffs, got out of the first round, and then they surprised the world. Now this year, those expectations are even higher now that they have Jimmy Butler and now that they have Tobias Harris, who is a very, very good player. And I think the fit is going to be nice because, yes, Tobias Harris is a player that could do stuff off the dribble, but he's a great spot-up shooter too. And they have players like Ben Simmons. They have Jimmy Butler who need the ball in their hands to make things happen. Tobias Harris can do both, and I think that's a great thing. But let's talk about the actual aspects of the trade. My favorite part of this trade is that Toby and Bobby are still on the same team. They've been traded together a couple times. I hope Tobias Harris finds a home because he's been everywhere and he's such a good player that some team needs to lock him up long term. But Toby and Bobby are still together. And why would the Clippers do this deal, you asking? You know, they're a borderline playoff team. Why are they trading their best player? It's because they are a borderline playoff team. And they know that even if they did make the playoffs, they're probably going to lose in the first round to whatever team they matched up. So let's take a step back. Tobias Harris may not re-sign here because we want to sign 2 max players anyway. We got Kawhi Leonard in our goggles. Like so much so every time the team play against each other, whether it's here or whether it's up north, the general manager's there. Like the general manager usually doesn't travel with the team, to put that into perspective, but he's always there watching Kawhi. A little recruiting going on, huh? But they want 2 max players, and Tobias Harris don't really fit that. So let's take a step back. Let's lose some more games and get a nice lottery pick and maybe get another guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who they got late lottery that turns out to be pretty solid so far. Let's take a step back and let's see what we can do. Free up some more money and get future assets. That Miami pick may mess around and be a top 10 pick in 2021. Because we don't know what the future of the Miami Heat really looks like, right? They got a decent amount of solid pieces, but in 2-3 years from now, where are the wins coming from? So that pick could be a lot. People are saying that maybe they overpaid, considering they're only going to have Tobias Harris for 30-plus games this season, the postseason, then maybe he's out the door. and you just gave up Landry Shamet. And that may not be something crazy to a lot of people, but people are already calling him JJ Redick 2.0 because he's such a knockdown shooter. And I guess playing alongside JJ Redick for half a season is already making an impact on his career. So if I were to grade these trades right up front, I'm giving it low-key. Both teams are winning this trade right off the rip. The 76ers get somebody to help them be competitive right now and maybe even more for the future because Tobias Harris is only 26 going on 27. And then the Clippers get to take a step back. They got a first-round pick that could be worth something. They got Landry Shamet. Even though he was a second-round pick, he's playing better than a lot of the first-round picks from the 2018 draft. It is a dub. So I just ran into this tweet by Ben Malice. He said, so dating back to last year, the Clippers basically traded Blake Griffin and his 5-year contract for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Avery Bradley, Landry Shamet, 2 first-round picks, and 3 second-rounders. That is insane comeback for Blake Griffin. Even though Blake Griffin is playing great, I mean, that contract is huge. So this is what they got in return. And again, it may not look like great on the surface, but those 2 first-round picks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he has a very bright future. And then you think about the idea of bringing in those 2 max players in LA. I just think it's a huge dub. So this team not only just affects the 2 teams that was involved, it affects every team in the Eastern Conference is trying to win, because the 76ers were already an elite team. Like, they were already a competitive team, a team trying to win the championship. But now they just got even better, because if you look at that trade, they didn't give up many things that would hurt them now. I mean, Landry Shamet, again, that may hurt a little bit, but they didn't give up anything that's for now. They gave up future assets, those future first-round picks. Elton Brand was like, listen, if we win the championship, who cares about those future first-round picks? I like this team a lot, and I still think they may be a candidate for the buyout. Mike Scott is a low-key underrated player that probably play for them a decent amount because he can't shoot the ball and play the 4 and sometimes the 5. Bobby is like a fan favorite in the world just because he's such a large person and he's a good personality. I'm sure he'll play a little bit, maybe not when the playoffs come around, but for the regular season. I just really like this trade for the teams a lot. But we'll really see the real grades once the offseason comes. Because if Tobias Harris walks and goes somewhere else, and you just gave up Landry Shamet and 2 first-round picks in 2 seconds, you may be like, yikes. Yikes, was that trade really good? And the same thing with the Jimmy Butler thing. If both of them walk and they don't replace them with an elite caliber player, Elton Brand may be in some trouble. But I don't feel very confident in that. I feel like at least one of them will stay, or hopefully both for their sake. But if both players walk, and they didn't win a championship in that time frame, Elton Brand may be in trouble, giving up all the future assets. But regardless, those are my initial thoughts of the deal. I kind of want to see what the world is thinking, though. So this is not what the world is thinking, but this is Tobias Harris. I forgot, just last night, he hit a game-winning shot just last night. And they were like, we're going to have to get you out of here. We appreciate you. Him and Mike Scott was on the court right there, too. We're going to get you out of here. We appreciate your time, and good luck. This is very interesting. The odds to win the Eastern Conference title after the Tobias Harris trade, they just jumped up. They doubled it. They doubled their last odds. This is from Westgate Las Vegas Superbook. They doubled their odds to win the East this year. It's weird to me that the Boston Celtics are still number 1. Not saying the Boston Celtics are a bad team, but honestly, I think the Raptors, in my eyes, should be higher than them. But wow. That one singular trade just doubled their chances of winning the Eastern Conference. These other teams need to be on note. They got to be on note. The Milwaukee Bucks, if they don't make a trade for this next day before the trade deadline, it's kind of a struggle. I mean, they did make one trade. They picked up Wesley Johnson or Stanley Johnson for Thonmaker. That's not going to impact the team. But if they don't make a trade to really improve their team significantly, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. When you see your opponent get better, you got to try to match that, or you're going to get left in the dust. You're going to get left in the dust. Regardless, those are my initial reactions to the trade. Shout out to my Sixer fans out there. You know, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a like in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the trade. I'm getting all these notifications, and I don't know if Anthony Davis will be traded before tomorrow at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. But if he is, well, we're doing this exact thing, but whatever that trade ends up being. Thank you. Peace.